I don't think they showed this in the jungle, but when there was 11 of us, me and Owen, I think it was the night that you win like a stay in the caravan. And I remember saying to him, God, the amount of girls that would love to be in here with you now. And we're discussing like our best Premier League players or something like that. And because there was 11 of us, we made a little team and we give Boy George the attacking midfield with the captain's armband. Aww. And he was like, it's the first time he'd really felt like he kind of belonged to football. Retired life, yeah. I thought I would have a little bit more time, but yeah, it's been great. Obviously, I'm just so I'm glad I've got work first and foremost, because I'm not somebody that plans too far ahead. So yeah, to have work is great. I think Shelley wants us back at the coffee shop doing some shifts, but it can't be possible at the minute. Not very well. I think having a good agency at the minute, give Joe a shout out. But yeah, no, it's been obviously that transition part. I think for me, obviously, I went from football being my life every single day, kind of doing the same thing. So this has been completely different. But I think one thing that helped with the transition was I was always used to being busy, because I've come from a generation of football where it wasn't professional in the beginning. So I've always done a bit of coaching and stuff like that. So when we used to finish at 2-3 o'clock, when the game got professional, I wouldn't just go home, watch TV. I'd either be at the shop or coaching. So I think always having a few things going on has just helped with that transition. Yeah, I was here yesterday, actually. I don't just hang around here. But no, I love it. They asked us to go out onto the pitch for a picture, and I was like, no, I need my last time to be when we won the Euros. So I haven't actually been back out onto the pitch. But yeah, so many great memories. I was doing an interview. I think I've played here 7 times, and yeah, it's such an honour. When I was little, I never thought I'd even get the chance to play at Wembley. So yeah, it's such a special place. Yeah, I'm getting to do all these cool things, mainly because Leah Williamson's still playing. So I'm like, sorry, you ended up with me. No. So yeah, it was such an honour to go to 10 Downing Street and represent the team along with Ellen White and Beth Mead. But yeah, I remember literally it was the day after the Euros. I hadn't had any sleep. I think we'd been partying for about 24 hours, obviously trying to make the most of everything. And Lotta had put a message in the group just saying, what's our legacy going to be? And I was like, oh, I've got a really bad head. I was like, can't even think. But I think she'd done some research, and 62% of schools obviously weren't given equal access to girls with PE. And I just thought, when I realised them figures, I was like, isn't it mad that a young girl will go to school and what do they say, football's for boys, girls, you were going to be doing something else. And for me, it was one of them where I fell in love with football at school, and I was very fortunate that we had a girls' football team, and this is going back a lot of years. But I think without that support, I wouldn't have gone on to have the career that I had. So the fact that you're taking away a potential dream for a little Jill, well, she was probably about that big, kind of really struck a chord with me. So it was fantastic work from Leah and Lotta, and yeah, it was great that I could go and take the credit at Downing Street. I definitely didn't get to pick the team. Yeah, just got a message, and I've been going to Soccer Aid for years. It's a fantastic event, obviously the work they do with UNICEF, the amount of money that they raise, and just giving every child an opportunity to play around the world. I think we take things for granted sometimes, just stepping out into the back lanes when I was younger, onto a pitch and just playing and enjoying sport, not just football. So I think it's a fantastic cause. I'm not looking forward to chasing Usain Bolt up the wing, but yeah, it's great. And yeah, I'm having a lot of like pinch me moments where I'm like, I've definitely got imposter syndrome, but I'm just going to go along with it. Yeah, it was crazy. I got an email straight after the Euros saying, oh, do you want to go on I'm a Celebrity? And I thought it was a hoax. But the girls had always said to us, out of all of them, obviously I got asked to do Love Island, which I turned down a few times. But they said, if you get I'm a Celebrity, you've got to do it. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But yeah, it was just a mad situation. Like the whole thing, I was hungry a lot of the time. You only get about 900 calories of rice and beans, and then you win a meal and it's like crocodile feet, and you're just like, it's not great. But yeah, just so many mad moments. I was at a talk yesterday and I was telling the story of, for people that watched it, obviously the bike provided the water to do the dishes. So me and Boy George were on dishes duty, and Matt Hancock and Chris Moyles is on the bike behind us. And I'm like, pedal faster, Matt, I need the water to go hot. So washing the dishes, Boy George is singing Karma Chameleon. And I'm like, if I ever did drugs, which I haven't, I was like, is this what it's like? Because it was just, it was mad. It was mad. But I do think people were talking about women's football. I haven't watched the show back, but I did do a lot of interviews on women's football and stuff like that. And to obviously get it on TV, a lot of viewers, if it's kind of helped a little bit, then it's worth it. I learned that sport is just an incredible thing. I never thought I'd be equipped to go and live in a jungle for 3 weeks. And I think when I sit here and do talks, and it's been such an honour to play for England 161 times, the first being just as special as the last. But I think what sport teaches you, how to win, how to lose, how to be part of a team, how to help your teammates, kind of the mental side of it. It was really difficult in there in terms of like that psychological that would like really drop you low and then raise you back up. So I always say for kids going into sport, don't think about that target of always kind of representing England. It's good to have it as a dream, but for parents, just getting the kids into sport, it can equip them for life. Yeah, that was actually a really sad story. He said when he was younger, the boys didn't accept him, and they didn't think he was kind of the right person to play football. But I don't think they showed this in the jungle, but when there was 11 of us, me and Owen, I think it was the night that you win like a stay in the caravan. And I remember saying to him, God, the amount of girls that would love to be in here with you now. And we're discussing like our best Premier League players or something like that. And because there was 11 of us, we made a little team and we give Boy George the attacking midfield with the captain's armband. And he was like, it's the first time he'd really felt like he kind of belonged to football. So yeah, there's lovely little moments like that. I was just a kid that wanted to be outside all the time. I know you were talking about your daughter before, just outside. I didn't want to be watching movies and stuff like that. Always had scraped knees. And I think I went to school seeing football was being played and I was like, oh, I want to do that. And I was only about 5. And then I think as time went on, I was like, oh, I'm actually the only girl doing this. So it was difficult in the beginning when I've done a few of these talks and reflected on moments. I got a lot of stick. My first day at senior school, I actually was getting called names for playing football, and a boy tripped us up and I smashed my elbow in like 3 places. And it was like the first day of senior school is daunting enough, as well as being rushed to hospital. But yeah, I think the one thing that I say is, although them moments were tough, I always picked my football boots back up because there was nothing in the world that was going to stop us from doing what I loved. So I was quite a driven child, and I think I built up my resilience from quite a young age. Yeah, I did, like David Beckham, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard. And that's what I say now, like I do soccer camps, I've got Lucy Bronze, Leah on the back of the shirt. Yeah. Never mind, I always say, even though it's my soccer camp. But it's like, it's them things that now, I always say I had this dream that didn't exist. So my mum would say, what do you want to be when you're older? I want to be a footballer. I was 3rd child, the other 2 were doing well. She was probably like, just let her crack on with it. So this dream didn't exist, but now young girls, young boys as well, obviously they have the male role models as well, and young girls do, but now they've opened up this whole other world, and I think it just allows them young girls to dream. And you know what, it's not just about football. You think about all the females that are going into refereeing now, physiotherapy, and they might think I'm not a great footballer, but I can see a female doing that job, the visible. Now I can dare to dream and think, oh, well, maybe I could do that when I'm older. So sometimes being visible is so important as well. Haters saying this because she hates getting the limelight, but Mo Marley for me, I know there's a couple of people in the room that was managed by Mo as well, but at them times when I was 18, 19, the game wasn't professional. She really went that extra mile. She made sure we still had that professional mindset. There was no cutting corners, nothing like that. There was no money in the game. She used to wash the kit. She used to make sure you always got to where you needed to be. And yeah, for me, she's an incredible woman. And the amount of girls I played at England under-19s and went on to play for England seniors who had been coached by her, managed by her. I remember playing for the 19s once, and I thought I'd had a good game in like a quarter-final of the Euros, and she dropped us for the next game, and I was absolutely gutted, and she was like the worst person in the world to us. I was like, why would she drop us? I did okay. And I remember her saying after that camp, I got selected to go away with the seniors, and she was like, I had to see how you reacted to see if you were ready for that step up. So she was always thinking ahead and helping you with your journey. So when we won the Euros, I remember I didn't want to go on my phone. I wanted to take it all in. I didn't want to take videos and all that. I wanted to live it in my head. But the only text message I sent, which I've never told my family, was a selfie to Mo with my medal and just said, without you, this would never have been possible. So, yeah, it was a nice moment. And she'll hate that I've told that story. Kind of been blown up a little bit. I think I'm going to be doing a bit of work with the academy, boys and girls, hopefully, and suddenly it's like I'm going to be Pep's assistant at the weekend. So don't always believe the media, but
that was our fault.
But I need to be back on the grass. Look, I walk past people and they go, "There's that girl from the jungle," and I'm like, I did play football for 30 years, so I need to. My passion is on the grass. I went to a grassroots event recently, and it was not that it was a tick box, but they just wanted us to get a few photos, and I was like, oh well, if the girls got training, I'll take the sessions. And I had this little 6-year-old, and she was checking her shoulder. The ball was on the other pitch, but I was like, just check that shoulder, it's brilliant. So it's like, for me, them little wins when I'm on the grass, I love it. I do love it. I didn't really have a plan. That was the thing. When I go and do talks to younger girls, younger boys, they say, speak about long-term goal setting and stuff like that, but I never did it. And I don't want to lie, but I think a good point with that is, I always use me and Steph Houghton as an example. We started at Sunderland together. I went to Everton, she went to Arsenal, then we went back at Man City, and we've had very similar careers, but we're such different people with totally different routines. She would analyse everything, I wouldn't, and I think a point on that would be that you can kind of reach this target that you've got, but you can do it in your own way. Right. But in terms of making a plan, I've always been like, I always think tomorrow's never guaranteed, and if you think too far ahead, you don't know what's going to happen, so it's always just being the best person you can be every single day. Had a manager, Nick Cushion at Man City, and he said, look, if you can look yourself in the mirror at the end of every day and say, I've done everything I can to be better than I was yesterday, then you can be proud. So, yeah, I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. I still don't know now, obviously coaching, I like doing the talks and stuff like that, but yeah, we'll just see. Dancing on ice, no, I'm only joking. I'm joking. I think sometimes it's, again, that visibility piece. So I'll go along to sessions and I'll say to them, I think sometimes they'll look at you and they think, oh, you've been to World Cups, you play for England, played for England, I keep saying that, hanging on to the dream. You've done all this stuff and it seems like something that is so unreachable for them. So when I go and see them and just have a normal conversation, say to them, look, I was just like you, I used to come along to these soccer camps. And then I think it's just kind of giving them that realisation that their dreams can come true. And if you can help them in any way, and not just on the pitch, I like all the mentoring side as well. I did a lot of that in COVID with the Man City Academy, just checking in on a few of the girls because they were losing the motivation to do the individual sessions. They had all the worries with school and stuff like that, and I think it's about finding that balance in life. So yeah, just chatting to them like the normal people really, and to be honest, I'm probably mentally about their age, so I get on quite well with them, to be honest. Yeah, I try and have, I don't want to use cheesy things, but I do try and have that no regrets. Like, I feel so honoured to have had the career that I had. Like, I'll sit here honestly and say, look, I was just an average player with a big heart. As my career went on, and I'm playing with the likes of Kira Walsh, Georgia Stanway, Lauren Hemp, and I'm like, wow, they don't realise how good they are. And it took a lot of work for us to stay at their level. But yeah, in terms of regret, I think I just feel so lucky. Like, to have my last game at Wembley, win the Euros against Germany, it was just the absolute perfect ending. But one thing that I will say, obviously I tell a lot of jokes and whatever else, and you'll have been able to see in the final that I can be quite serious when I'm on the pitch. So I'm kind of like two different people in that sense. Like, I will absolutely give it my all, but I was so strict with myself, and I didn't realise how obsessed I was until I stopped playing. Like, it would get to 10 o'clock if you were watching Netflix series. No, I need to go to bed, I've got training tomorrow. I'd have one cup of tea, I wouldn't have two because it'd be too much caffeine for training the next day. So now I stay up till 11 and I have 2 cups of tea. Like, I'm like so kind of out there, I suppose. But yeah, I think it's one of them where I always reevaluated my routine. So if I had a bad game on a Sunday, I would look back on the week and say, should I have gone for that Nando's on Wednesday? Maybe not. And then I'd always be trying to make sure I got the right routine. So I know I do joke a lot, and I was like that off the pitch, but I was so strict and regimented with myself and my performance. Yeah, it's great. Obviously, I've done a couple of games now. I think being with Kaz has been a real special one. She's been one of my kind of really good friends throughout this journey, and she's so good at what she does. Like, she puts, the thing is though, it's not by chance that she's where she is. She puts so much work in, and I met her the other week before International Women's Week because I was like, I had a few talks, but I wanted to make sure that I got the right messages across, and it's great that we can bounce off each other and like I steal her ideas, to be honest. But you know what, I had a great conversation with her about International Women's Week because obviously it was the equity piece and the equality. Yeah, we need the same opportunities for men and women, but sometimes when we're getting them and suddenly the women's referees go to there because the opportunities are there for women, but that support piece needs to be put in place because you haven't had the same journey as the men to get there. It's not saying that we can't do it, but I think that support piece has to be in place. So speaking to the likes of Kaz, Farah, players like that, I think we're all so different, so it's great, yeah, just to bounce off each other and steal their ideas, really.